Number 2, Caleb Wallace. Number 3, Dakota Walden. Number 23, John Shoulders. And number 34, Clayton Winter.
We are rocking and ready to go here from the Davis Fieldhouse on the campus of Bob Jones University in Greenville, South Carolina. Hey, folks, Johnny Gammon bringing you the action here as the Bruins back in action less than 24 hours after a big victory over Berea College in the opening day of the Bruins Invitational. They will be in for a very tough opponent today, though, as they take on Asbury University, who comes into this game at 8-1 on the year. They started the season 7-0 and had their 7-game winning streak snapped earlier this week, and then bounced back with a victory over Warren Wilson College. And watching Asbury a little bit yesterday, this is a team that plays really great fundamental basketball. You're not going to see a lot of razzle-dazzle, but you're going to see a lot of great offensive flow and production. Bruins, on the other hand, had a very dominant performance last night. 4 players scoring in double figures. Of course, Henry Blair leading with 29 points last night. He hit 4 3-pointers. And another big story from the night is that man, number 21, Brian Sims, had 19 points, and really, particularly in the first half, was just on fire for the Bruins. And the team, about the midway point of that first half, went on a run and never really looked back as they were able to hold off Berea College, a late rally in that game to come away with the victory. Their 3rd victory of the year. They're just 3-1 on the season. And I think we're going to have a shot clock issue here that we need to get resolved. So that'll be the stoppage in play. Bruins will be in their away uniforms, actually, tonight. Again, with it being an invitational, a lot of times these teams switch back and forth between home and away jerseys. So since the Bruins played the late game last night, they'll be in their away jersey. So the Bruins in the blue to start things out. And starting things out is Caleb Wallace with a 3-pointer for the Eagles. You heard the starters moments ago. It's Blair, Sims, Hughley, Hayes, and Garrick for the Bruins. Hayes brush, gets it back across to Sims. 3-pointer from the outside, no good. Garrick gets it back, and Kenny Garrick opens the scoring for the Bruins with the offensive putback. As I said, 4 players scoring in double figures for the Bruins in the game last night. It was Blair leading the way with 29, Sims with 19, and then Dylan Harris off the bench with 10, and Hayes Brush had another double-double, 10 points and 10 rebounds last night. Stephon Hughley gets into the scoring mix. He was pretty quiet last night, did a lot of other things for the Bruins, but just 9 points. And again, he came into the game last night averaging 19 on the season. We talked about it a little bit on the broadcast last night, but 4 different players averaging double figures for the Bruins. And talking to the coaching staff, they're just really excited about where they're at right now. I mentioned this a little bit last night, but just the potential on the team this year and how a lot of the new faces have really helped the team gel. And already early on this season, you're seeing a lot of that chemistry that we're used to seeing in the late stages of the season. And so exciting things ahead for Bruins basketball this year. Brush trying to get it ahead to Hughley. That one thrown away. Eagles coming back in transition, and I believe that's all the points so far. All 7 have come courtesy of the fingers of Caleb Wallace, the junior from Jackson, Ohio. Has taken it on his shoulders so far. Henry Blair, quick jumper on the inside, and he'll knock it down. Henry Blair foregoing the 3 to hit the 2 instead. And it's 7-6 early on, Asbury. Asbury played against Warren Wilson last night. Great positioning that time by Clayton Winter. And again, just watching Asbury yesterday in their battle with Warren Wilson, again, the best I can describe it is it's really not razzle-dazzle type basketball. You see a lot of really clean sets and a lot of moving without the ball, and guys just taking advantage of that. And particularly yesterday, as they were playing against Warren Wilson, they built the lead up to a 23-point lead over Warren Wilson. Now, Warren Wilson went on a dramatic second-half run to cut it all the way back to 3 points. And then guess what? Asbury went on a big run towards the end of the game and won that one by 19. So it's a team that really can score in bunches, but it's a team that's very well disciplined as well. Coach Will Schaus and his squad have done a tremendous job so far this season. Again, 8-1 coming into this contest here today. It's Winter on the outside, drops this one off to Shoulders. Back up top to Caleb Wallace. He's the leading scorer for the team so far. Drives to his right, little back and forth, driving through the lane once again. And we're going to have a foul called on, I think, Hughley.
That foul is on number 3, Stephon Hughley. That's his first.
And Hughley upset about that one. I kind of am in agreement with him as well. Winters was definitely going up for the rebound. Three-pointer from the outside. Swish. And that extends the lead, 12-6. Asbury on top as we are about 5 minutes into the contest here. Again, a reminder, Bruins in the blue today, Asbury in the white. Henry Blair. And we're going to have a blocking foul on that shot attempt. Another thing the Bruins did a really good job of yesterday was taking care of the basketball early on. There was a lot of fouls that were called, but particularly because the Bruins were just strong with the basketball. Going through the lane, you didn't see a lot of dumb passes, and they were able to take advantage of the Mountaineer defense. And as I said, really the midway point of that first half proved to be the difference as they went on a big run. Had a double-digit lead at halftime, and although Berea cut it to an 8-point deficit in the middle of the second half, the Bruins were able to pull away late. And that's how it ended up. Henry Blair goes 1 of 1 for his 2 shots. That's another problem the Bruins had last night in the second half in particular was their ability to make free throws, as Trevor Brunson running after that rebound. He just checked into the game. Hayes Brush, little hesitation, spin move back up top. Brunson, one more over to Henry Blair from the outside. No good. Wallace getting it ahead. And back inside, we're going to have a foul called here. It was Dakota Walden going through the lane. And he is going to be fouled by Henry Blair, his first, team second in this first half.
So for the Bruins, entering the game, number 33, Kenny Garrett.
Kenny Garrett comes back into the game. Hayes Brush sitting down. Brian Sims bringing the ball up the court for the Bruins. Garrick, little hesitation, drives to his left, up off the glass, and Kenny Garrick has 4 points so far in this first half. Cuts the lead back to 5. Hands this one off. Driving through the lane, and again, the Eagles have just been relentless at attacking the rim in the first 6 minutes of this game, and as a result, that's the third foul for the Bruins. And that's going to be on Trevor Brunson, his first, team third. Still early on, but the Bruins did a great job yesterday of staying out of foul trouble for the majority of the game. Meanwhile, Berea, I think, had 2 different players foul out in the late stages. And again, as a lot of former basketball players know, or current basketball players, a lot of the first 2 or 3 minutes of a game, you're really getting into your flow and progressions, those kinds of things. You're also kind of gauging the officials and how the game's going to be called. Henry Blair with a nice bucket inside. But one thing, both defensively and offensively, is gauging, okay, are they going to make this call? Is this going to be called, whether it's bodying on the rebound or driving through the lane, whatever it may be. And so far it's been somewhat tight. Great pass there by Trevor Brunson as he finds Dylan Harris on the backside, and Harris finishes the play. Just under 14 minutes remaining in this first half. Bruins have cut it back to a 1-possession game. Back to the outside, three-pointer away, and once again, John Shoulders with his second 3 of the first half. As I said, this Asbury team, they put up 101 points last night, and at times it looked pretty effortless. So this is a team that, coming into this game, the Bruins knew the defensive effort was going to need to be exceptional, much like it was last night. Hayes Brush will come back into the game. Henry Blair taking a seat. Brian Sims hits the second as well, so it's 19-15. Here in this first half. Turnaround shot on the way, no good. Winter able to get the offensive rebound, and now Garrick and Harris both skying for that one. Garrick racing through himself, going coast to coast, soft touch up and off the glass. 19-17. Kenny Garrick with 6 points here in the opening half. He had a relatively quiet night last night, but making his presence felt today. Shoulders through the lane, that's just too easy as he goes baseline for the layup. 21-17. Inside to Hayes Brush. Brunson. Garrick. Brunson back across. Hayes Brush will try a 3 from the outside. No good. Harris had a play on it, but goes off of his hands and out of play. So to go back to the Eagles. A couple of subs coming in for Asbury now. And again, this Asbury team, if you look at their slate of games that they have played so far this season, they have battled through some tough opponents. I mean, you look at Grace Christian University, Great Lakes Christian College. Those are 2 teams in Division II NCCAA that are consistently ranked in the top 5 year after year. And 2 victories over both of those schools. They defeated Berea College, who the Bruins defeated last night. And again, their only blemish on the season was a loss to Alice Lloyd College. And again, it was not a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. They only lost by 10 points. But
that foul is on number
And again, the other thing that, as I look at their schedule, Asbury is used to playing close, physical, hard-fought games. As you look at their schedule, the most decisive victory was, I believe, last night in their 19-point win over Warren Wilson. Every single other game has been about 10 points or less in terms of the results. And again, when you can have that kind of play from your team and you get into the late stages of those games and you're finding a way to win, you've got to love being able to build that confidence with every single hard-fought match to be able to come away with that with a victory. And again, they're 8-1 on the year. Bruins, in talking with the coaching staff and some of the players, they really feel like they should be undefeated on the year. Of course, that Friday night, November 18th game against Southeastern, the Bruins just allowed the game to kind of get away from them late. And that has been their only loss so far on the season, in an 82-80 loss to Southeastern, with victories over Brevard, Southeastern, and then Berea last night. I'd like to remind you a couple of games coming up for the Bruins this first semester. Just a couple more chances to watch them here at the Davis Fieldhouse before Christmas. And as always, we'd like to remind you that it's free admission here for our home games. So bring the family out, bring your friends out. Always a great environment here at the Davis Fieldhouse. 21-17 here in the first half. Bruins have not had a lead so far in this game, but they have remained within striking distance. Hayes Brush in the corner, back to Henry Blair. Now Brush gets it back, and we're going to have a travel call. So another turnover for the Bruins. Goes back to Asbury. Skip pass across. Back to Wallace. Wallace getting it back, driving through. Now kicks it back out. Three-pointer on the way is short. Hayes Brush pulls down the rebound. Skip pass ahead to Harris. And again, tough pass there that time. And again, that's one that you might want to hold the trigger on instead of releasing that one. I mean, even if Harris would have corralled that one, it would have been a 1-on-3 type of a situation. So there's been a couple of those types of decisions early on here. And again, when you're playing a team with the caliber of the Eagles, those kinds of mistakes can really pay dividends late in the contest. Another basket inside by Winter and extends the lead 23-17. And just like that, Bruins going back to the bench as Hughley getting ready to come back in. Pouncey trying to throw this one in, and Harris springing the fast break. Back come the Eagles the other way, driving on the baseline. Good job there by Hayes Brush to get his paw on it and knock it out of play. And that should bring us to our next media timeout. Well, maybe not. It's 23-17 is our score at about the halfway point of this first half. Wallace from the outside. And Caleb Wallace extends the lead to 9. Biggest lead so far for Asbury. And the Bruins, particularly offensively, are trying to look for some kind of spark here to get them back into the game. Henry Blair up off the glass. And as we've come to affectionately call him Big Shot Blair, you saw it several times in the game last night when Berea would go on a little bit of a run, and Henry Blair, he finished with 29 points last night, but he would just come up with big shot after big shot after big shot right when the Bruins needed it most. Wallace again from the outside. And Caleb Wallace is able to convert again from beyond the arc. It's a 10-point lead now for the Eagles, 29-19. Pouncey. Eagles going back into that zone again. Down low to Hughley. Hughley trying to drive around those players, and he is called for the travel, dragging that pivot foot. And another turnover for the Bruins. Winter working on Hughley. They sent this one inside. A little bit of a miscommunication from Wallace inside to Fort, but Fort was able to corral it and get the high percentage layup. (31-19), Bruins trying to stop the bleeding. Rush, skip pass over to Henry Blair. Here comes the three, no good. Asbury running and gunning, pushing it ahead. Fort through the lane, and he's going to be fouled. I believe this is going to be on Hughley. No, it's going to be on Henry Blair, his second, team fourth, as we have just over 8 minutes remaining here in this first half.
Substitution for the Bruins.
Sims now bringing it back up the court. Sims with a hesitation, again trying to thread the needle to Dylan Harris, and another turnover for the Bruins. Bruins have been stuck at that 19 margin for a little bit, and another foul as Andrew Ahrens has come into the game. Again, the Bruins have had to dip into the bench a little bit more often this first half, just particularly because of the fouls as they have started to add up here in this first half. And you see Coach Yu on the end of the bench with several of his players talking about some differences in change-up and strategy, because right now the Bruins are in a little bit of a hole and really need to dig themselves out. Brunson to Harris. Harris working baseline, and he's able to get it back himself. Turnaround shot, no good. Harris gets it back again and drops it in. Dylan Harris, again, 10 points last night off the bench. And good second and third effort that time to finally come away with it. Fort driving through the lane, and again, another foul is going to be called. And the Bruins bench saying, hey, he had lost possession clearly throughout that drive to the hoop. But another foul called on the Bruins here in the first half. Bruins will be back on the road on Tuesday night as they take on Johnson & Wales. And then next Saturday, we'll be right back here in the Davis Fieldhouse. 6 o'clock tip-off, or 6:30 tip-off, as the Bruins welcome Carolina Christian. And then I believe just one more opportunity to see the Bruins this first semester as they'll play Brevard College on December 17th. It's William Snipes who just checked into the game as well. Bruins got to get something going defensively as well. Fort through the lane. His shot up and under and in. And the lead is now 16, 37-21. And Sims loses possession that time, getting it ahead. Asbury running and gunning, and it's going to be a foul called on Brunson late. But I think more of the frustration, or more what should be the frustration for the Bruins, is just the careless mistakes with the basketball here in this first half. We don't have official stats here in front of us, but I would venture to say we're close to 10 turnovers so far in this first half, and many of them preventable. Look at that last sequence, just a mishandling of the ball. It slips, and Asbury is one of those teams that is a run-and-gun type team, and is going to push the tempo in transition. You give them an opportunity, they're going to try to take advantage of it. Timeout Bruins, 6:43 left to go in this first half. Bruins have a 17-point deficit to overcome. We'll take a quick break. This is the free throw opportunity. Back come the Bruins now. Shot from the outside, no good. Three from the outside from Henry Blair. And again, the Bruins needed a big shot like that. Winter. Now to Wallace. Wallace will take the three from the outside, and Wallace buries it. Make it 41-24. And I will say, we're having some score bug issues, so be sure to keep your volume turned up. It's a OCR camera that's pointed at our scoreboard, which then transmits that data into a digital format. And right now the score bug is malfunctioning just a tad. So the score is actually 24-41. So the Bruins down 17 right now, not just 7. But we are working to get that resolved as quickly as possible. Timeout. 5:27 left to go here in this first half. Bruins have a little bit of a hole to overcome. Blair through the lane. His shot on the way, no good, and Blair was looking for a foul on that one. 41-24 is our score here. And again, just to keep you updated, we're having a little bit of an issue with our score bug, so I'll try to keep you as updated as I can in terms of the score. 43-24 now is the score. Henry Blair, skip pass over to... And we have a 3-second violation called on Stefan Hughley.
23, John Shoulders, replacing number 4, Ashton Owens, and number 11, Matt McNew.
This is Fort. Fort's turnaround shot rattles and drops. And again, I mean, this Asbury team is just fun to watch simply because they just are well disciplined. And Coach Schaus again has done a really good job at just, they're poised, they're controlled, and they're really not doing, again, anything that's, you just look and go, wow. It's just sound fundamental basketball, and it's just fun to watch. The Bruins have continued to essentially shoot themselves in the foot with different mistakes they've been making throughout the course of the game, particularly defensively, and then turnovers as well. And when you're playing against a good team like Asbury, it is one of those things where you're going to quickly dig yourself into a hole. Again, the score right now is 45-26. Block inside. Back come the Eagles once again. Sims through the lane. Tough angle, tough shot. Shot from the outside. Rattles and Hughley will sky for the rebound. Looks like our score bug is back to functioning again. Our apologies for that technical difficulty, but you should be able to see that score in your lower left-hand screen now. 2 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in this first half. Bruins with a 19-point deficit. And again, the sad part of it is with as well as they played last night, it's tough to see them struggling the way that they are here in this first half. But as Coach Yu consistently says, this is a tournament type environment. You know, when you get to the regional tournament and eventually, hopefully, a national tournament for Division II. These are the kind of games where you're going to have to play on a Friday night and again on a Saturday, or on a Thursday afternoon and again on a Friday, you know. And so to be able to forget what you did the night before and come back out and take care of business is vitally important. Garrick through the lane, back to Hughley. Hughley had it blocked, back outside to Brush, inside to Hughley. Good movement that time by the Bruins as they've cut it back to 15 now. And it's going to be a foul on Brush.
That foul is on number 4, Hayes Brush. That is his first personal. And the Eagles are in the bonus. Nick Ford at the line, shooting 2.
Ford able to knock down the free throw, and it's 46-30. With just over 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Again, this zone has proved difficult for the Bruins to overcome. Hughley able to go off the glass and get the point. It's back to a 14-point lead, 46-32, with under 2 to go in this first half. Back outside. Bruins wanting a travel on that one. They're not going to get it. Pulling it back out is Walden. He hit a couple of threes so far in this half. And the three from the corner as Hagan Webb knocks it down. Back to a 17-point game. Brush inside to Garrick. Garrick trying to drop it in, had it blocked, but it will be a foul called, so Garrick will go to the line for two.
That foul is on number 24, Bryce Beavers. That is his first personal 7th team.
Bryce Beavers with the foul first for the junior out of Columbus, Ohio. And that's the 7th team foul for Asbury. Going into this halftime, again, if I am Coach U and the Bruins coaching staff, I have two things up on my board for adjustments for the second half. Number one is simply taking care of the basketball on the offensive end. The Bruins, I think, were getting a little too one-dimensional this first half and trying to force things, whereas last night you really just saw that rhythm of their offense really taking flight. And then defensively, the Bruins have just got to move their feet, get a hand up. It's little things. But Asbury doing a great job of rotation and moving the ball inside out. Sims back across to Brush. Brush in close, misses, and then Hughley gets the offensive rebound but can't finish on the putback. But he will be fouled and go to the line for two.
Bruins are in the bonus. Stephon Hughley at the line, shooting two.
Hughley hits the first.
For the Bruins, entering the game, number 24, Dylan Harris, replacing number 3, Stephon Hughley.
Dylan Harris back into the game now. Bruins applying that full court pressure, which Asbury has done a good job of breaking in the first half. And again, one of the reasons they have the lead that they do is they've just been really, really good and effective at that in and out game. The shot clock and game clock are essentially identical here. Driving baseline, and that's going to be a shot clock violation on the Eagles. And I think we're going to have an adjustment to the clock as well. I have 1.8 seconds here for the Bruins. They could probably get a shot in a desperation heave type of a situation. Brush takes the half-court shot. In and out! Hayes Brush almost knocking down that half-court shot. And that will send the Bruins into the halftime break. Our score at the end of the first half, Bruins have a 16-point deficit to try to overcome in the second half. Our score, Asbury 52, Bruins 36. We'll be back here for the second half. Stay with us here at the Davis Fieldhouse. Second half action about to get underway. The Bruins coming into the second half trailing by 16 points, 52-36. Johnny Gambit bringing you the action here as the Bruins welcoming Asbury University out of Kentucky today. And said at the top of the broadcast, this is going to be a tough matchup for the Bruins. The Eagles coming into this one at 8-1 on the season. Their lone loss coming on Tuesday against Alice Lloyd College, but prior to that, the Eagles had been a perfect 7-0 on the season and then bounced back to win over Warren Wilson last night with a 101-82 victory. Henry Blair missing the open opportunity, and then Hayes Brush not able to chase it down in the corner, so it'll go back to the Eagles. And again, we talked about a little bit of that first half. The Bruins just have compounded some of their mistakes. Again, defensively, Asbury has done a good job of really working the ball around and finding those open looks and opportunities, and the Bruins have just not been able to keep pace. Now, offensively, the Bruins have turned some tough situations into even more difficult situations, as again, I don't have the official stats in front of me, but I would almost guarantee they're in double digits in terms of turnovers. And again, just being able to attack that defensive zone a little better, which should free up more open looks and open shots. I felt like the Bruins just were a little bit too content to settle for decent shots when they could have worked the ball around for better shots. Again, in that 3-2 zone are the Eagles. And again, this is a lot of what happened in that first half is, again, just careless plays, and then the Eagles coming back the other way, and Winter again on the inside, able to slip it down and get the offensive putback. And just like that, back-to-back baskets, and it's a 21-point game. Brush trying to get it to Hughley, and again, Hughley down in that corner, gives it to Sims. Sims driving through the lane, and with the left hand uses it off the glass. And it's 57-38. Down low to Winter. And Hughley pulls down the rebound, and he's going to push it in transition for the Bruins. Back outside, Brush will take the three, and Hayes Brush knocks down the tray. The Bruins come back with back-to-back buckets, and it's back to a 16-point game. And we're going to have a travel call. This might be the spark that the Bruins needed. I was texting back and forth with a big Bruins fan in the break, and he said these first 5 minutes of this second half are going to set the tone for the Bruins. And so far, the Bruins in the last 30 seconds or so have really taken that to heart. And as I say that, Henry Blair has his dribble go off of his leg, and another turnover for the Bruins, as they have been knocking on the door of pulling this one back within single digits, but every time they seem to get close, they seem to make a mistake. Brian Sims pushing it ahead. Henry Blair from the outside. Off the back iron, no good. Long three from the outside. That is John Shoulders knocking it down from deep. Back to a 19-point game, 60-41. Blair. Brush thought about a three there for a second, turning it around. Back to Garrick. He'll take the mid-range jumper, and Kenny Garrick knocks it down. Shoulders, little hesitation through the lane, floater on the way, and it is good. And Also would be very interested to see the shooting percentage for the Eagles. Good, quick response the other way by the Bruins as Hayes Brush with a finger roll. Shoulders again from the outside, no good. Winter chases it down, and another offensive rebound for Asbury. Shoulders, skip pass, and that one batted away by Hayes Brush, but it'll stay Asbury ball. And Brush trying to save it from going out of bounds. It'll hit the backboard and go right back out. So Asbury ball on the baseline. It'll be John Shoulders taking the inbound. Blair, 3-on-1. Back across. Blair stops, lays it up and in, and gets the point. Bruins have cut it to 15, 62-47, as we are about 5 minutes into this second half. Little hesitation, back to Shoulders. Shoulders loses it, back to Brush. 3-on-1 the other way. Sims through the lane, up with the left hand, and the Bruins have cut it to 13. We saw this last night when Asbury played against Warren Wilson. They had built a 23-point advantage in the first half. Warren Wilson in the second half came all the way back to cut it to a 3-point game, but then Asbury turned it on and ended up winning by 19. But in college basketball, the game is about runs. Brush back outside. Garrick will try from the outside. No good. Brush back to Garrick. Slip pass on the way. And the floater falls. 64-51. Scoop shot on the way, no good. Brush able to secure the rebound. He comes back over to Garrick. Garrick, and we're going to have a travel call, and Garrick affirms that. Again, just a little slip of the hands while he was holding the ball before he put it back down to the floor. Bruins have been able to cut into this lead, but much like the Bruins did last night, the Eagles have done a great job at stopping runs in their tracks. Let's see if the Bruins can complete the comeback. Still a lot of basketball left to be played, 13:42 and counting. So this one far from over as the Bruins just 13 points down, but Bruins are going to have to keep battling. Hughley has that one poked away and tries to get it back into Brush and instead throws it to the Bruins bench. A wholesale line change for Asbury as 5 go out, 5 come in. Up top. Swing pass into the corner. That's Owens. 10 on the shot clock. Good defense by the Bruins so far. Fadeaway jumper on the way, no good. Brunson able to chase down the rebound and gets it over to Hayes Brush. Back across to Sims. He takes the shot from the outside, no good. Hughley gets the offensive rebound, and he is looking all around for a foul. And not going to get it that time. I will say, just in the almost 8 minutes of play so far, we have had one foul called. So the refs letting them play in this second half. And that's a 3 from the outside by Ashton Owens. Back to a 16-point game, 67-51. And again, the Eagles coming up with big shots. This one back out. Brunson will take the three. That one's short. This is where the Bruins really can't get into a panic situation. Got to go back to what's working. Shot from the free throw line is no good. Hughley got the rebound, but then it was stolen back by the Eagles. So correcting the shot clock issue there, what happened was the Bruins had grabbed the rebound and then Asbury had taken the ball back. So in that change of possession, your shot clock should have reset it to 30 seconds. But what happened was the shot clock operator had just given it the switch to the 15-second mark instead of the full 30 seconds. Asbury continuing to come up with big shots as they lead the Bruins by 16. We are nearing the halfway point of this second half. As I mentioned, the Bruins will be on the road on Tuesday as they take on Johnson at Wales University up in Charlotte, North Carolina. Back home next Saturday as they take on Carolina Christian College, and then just one final home game the remainder of the season as they take on Brevard College here in the Davis Fieldhouse. That's a 12 o'clock tip-off on December 17th. So make your plans to join us. Always a fun atmosphere here at the DFH. Good defensive play there as Bruins get the steal. Rush back to Blair. And Blair
That foul is on number 23, Henry Blair.
bumped into the defender. I think it was more of the defender being a little bit off balance. We talked about this a little bit last night as well, but Henry Blair is one of those guys that you don't want to run into. He just is incredibly solid. I still remember one of the first times I saw him last year, one of the first practices, and I leaned over to Coach U and I said, this kid's playing the wrong sport. He should be in football because he really is built like a running back or a linebacker. Just really solid. Bruins will get it back, though, 67-51, our score here in the second half. The Bruins have been able to go on short bursts, but have not been able to get that sustained offensive production that they were so so accustomed to last night. Under 10.5 to go in this one. And again, Asbury doing a good job, particularly with their bench game coming in. Again, a couple of minutes ago, they switched into the wholesale substitution. 5 guys going out. And that's another 3 from the outside as Ben McNew hits it, pushes it back up to a 19-point game, 70-51.
Set for the Bruins entering the game, number 33, Kenny Garrett, replacing number 4, Hayes Brush.
Brunson slips it to Harris, and Harris got blocked, but also got clocked in the same sequence there is definitely the hand got all ball, but the body certainly made contact underneath that. And that'll send Harris to the line. He hits the first. Second one is up and good as well. We're going to have a foul called here. Skip pass. Garrick is able to get his hands on it, but it'll stay Eagles' possession. Turnaround shot on the way, and that is going to count as Nick Fort with the hook shot and in and one. Opportunity here for Fort to give the Eagles another 20-point advantage. And again, the Bruins, we'll talk to Coach Yu after this one and get his thoughts on the game. But again, putting my analyst hat on, it really has just come down to two things. It's defensively, just, again, giving too many opportunities for the Eagles, and then offensively, just not able to get, again, that sustained offensive production that, especially last night, we just saw the Bruins just firing on all cylinders, and today it's been anything but. But again, this is the point in the year where you're working through a lot of those kinks, and Blair, this one slips out now. Brunson trying to keep it, and now back come the Eagles the other way. Getting this up for Fort off the assist from Caleb Wallace. Inside to Harris once again. That ball movement is working for the Bruins, but it might be too little too late, as it's now a 19-point game, 74-55. But Asbury has not shown any signs of relinquishing this large lead, as they have essentially matched the Bruins point for point. Henry Blair misses the open opportunity there from three. Clock continues to run. And unfortunately, the clock is not the Bruins' friend right now. Fort through the lane, and once again, Fort is able to absorb the contact and get the bucket to fall. That's the third foul on Brunson and the fourth team foul on the Bruins. Blair. Swing pass over to Brunson. He'll take the three. No good. And we're going to have a foul on Blair over the back. No, actually, it's going to be called on Ashton Owens. Second foul on Owens, and the fourth team foul for the Eagles. And again, the Bruins just shooting themselves in the foot, as that one goes off of the leg of Garrick and back to the Eagles. A three-pointer on the other side, and if that's not a story of how this game has gone, I don't know what is. A turnover by the Bruins turns into a three on the other end by Asbury, and again, it's frustrating because you just saw glimpses of the potential last night in how the Bruins just were firing on all cylinders. Henry Blair hitting a corner three. As we have just over 7 minutes remaining, but it's a 21-point game, 79-58. We'll take a quick break. .07 left to go in the contest. Johnny Gambit bringing you the action as the Bruins down by 21 here in this game. But you got to give credit to Asbury again. I said several times on this broadcast, they're just a fun team to watch. The ball movement for the Eagles has just been outstanding. And again, as I said before, in a day and age when the game of basketball really has changed, I just enjoy those teams at the college level who have just that team mentality of it's not one guy, it's not 1v1, it's the passing around, the transition, the ball movement. So can't say enough about Coach Schaus and the way he's led his team this year. Again, barring some kind of dramatic comeback in the final 7 minutes here, they will move to 9-1, on the season. And every bit is deserving. They'll be a good team this year. Winter able to secure the defensive rebound, and Fort now bringing it up for the Eagles. Inside to Fort, drives around, and it's going to be an offensive rebound called on Fort that time. That's the third foul on Fort. Back outside to Brunson. Bruins trying to get something going offensively. Again, it's a quiet day here in the Davis Fieldhouse as Sims knocks it down, giving the fans a little bit of spark of life. Cuts it back to 18, 79-61. Wallace gets the screen from Fort. Drives to his right on Garrick. A little hesitation, and we don't have the stats in front of us. Nick Fort leading the way for the Eagles, but I would imagine they have 3 or 4 players in double figures. And again, have just forced the Bruins into turnover after turnover, which has fueled this lead. Timeout, and that is our media timeout. We will be back in about a minute for the final 5:13 of this contest. Stay with us. about 5 minutes remaining. Harris through the lane with the right hand is able to lay it off the glass and in. Pushes it back to an 18-point game now. Winter to Wallace. Wallace with the hesitation through the lane back out to Fort. And it's going to go off of Winter last. And it'll go back to the Bruins. Sims through the lane, and it goes all around the rim, does everything but drop.
I thought it was on number 2, Caleb Wallace.
Caleb Wallace is going to be credited with the foul, and that's his second, team 7th. So the Bruins will be in the bonus for the remaining 4:38 of the contest. But again, the deficit is probably too much to overcome at this point. 17 points now. It would be quite the dramatic finish if the Bruins were able to pull back into this one. And again, particularly with how Asbury has played as well. Hayes Brush checking back into the game. He'll replace Trevor Brunson. McFort bringing it up for Asbury. Waiting for things to develop. Drives to his left. Now back outside. Shoulders for 3. And John Shoulders hitting another tray from the outside. Pushes it back to 19. Fort pushing it ahead. Wallace is able to score on the fast break layup. And once again, back to a 21-point advantage, 86-65. We're under 4 minutes to play. Blair from the corner. Got the 3 to drop. And a timeout called by the Bruins bench. And again, a situation where the Bruins continue to knock on the door, and it's like they'll chip away at the lead, and then the Eagles are able to come back with a sequence of points as they've been able to just match them. Fort driving to his left, finger roll opportunity on the way, and he gets his own rebound and put back. 88-68. Garrick back to Brush. He'll take the 3 from the outside, in and out. And that'll go back to the Eagles. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Pouncey coming back in for the Bruins. And again, coming away from this game, this is an opportunity where you, as respectably as possible, you've kind of gotten punched in the mouth today if you're the Bruins squad. And this is an opportunity for you to look at your team and see what you did wrong. And again, the positive that you can take away from this is that a lot of this game and the score being what it is was somewhat self-inflicted. I mean, again, you look at the stat sheet, and I guarantee you the Bruins are probably in the neighborhood of 16 to 17 turnovers, somewhere in that neighborhood. And again, another turnover right there. But the thing about self-inflicted wounds is you can hopefully correct that going forward. It's not like you had a team that just came out and dominated in every single facet of the game. What you saw was Asbury executed their offensive progressions, and just time after time were able to come away with smart shots and points.
Bruins ball. Pass substitution.
And on the Bruins side, they just had not been rewarding themselves after creating open looks. Lincoln Riddle seeing his first action of the contest tonight. Sims. Skip pass to Riddle. He'll take the corner three, and that's short. And back across to Cody. Now Webb to Beavers. Back to Cody, back to Beavers now. And that one going to skip away, and it'll go back to the Bruins. 1:27 remaining here in the contest. Brian Sims off the glass. Siebel's able to get the bucket. And it's going to be a foul on Lincoln Riddle. His first, team fifth. One minute, 11 seconds remaining in the contest here. Bruins, with the loss today, will fall to 3-2 on the season. On this young season, I should say. Make it 89-70 now. Kenny Garrick. Now back to Riddle in the corner. He'll take the three from the outside. Lincoln Riddle. It's his first three of the contest. Back to a 16-point game now, 73-89, with under a minute to go. Eagles coming back the other way. Riddle able to get the rebound. Has it poked away. Pouncey now with it. Back to Riddle. Riddle. Mid-range jumper, no good. Aaron's trying to secure the rebound, but has the ball thrown off him instead. 30 seconds put back on, so about a 3-second differential between the shot and game clock. And no doubt Asbury going to just hold until they can get a good look. Shot from the outside, no good. Offensive rebound and back inside. And the shot on the way is good. And 91 as Peyton Cody scores. 10 seconds, Pouncey has it go off. And it'll stay Bruins possession with 8 seconds remaining. That shot from the outside, that is William Snipes, who knocks down the three. And the Eagles are going to just let this one run out. That's going to do it here for us at the Davis Fieldhouse. Your final score. Bruins falling in this one. You got to give it to Asbury as they did an excellent job in this game in all facets as they come away with a 91-76 victory. Again, the Bruins will be on the road on Tuesday, but we'll be back here in the Davis Fieldhouse next Saturday, 6:30 tip-off. We'll hope you'll join us here in the Fieldhouse at that time. That's going to do it for us on the broadcast. I'm Johnny Gammon again. Once again, your final score, Asbury 91 and your BJU Bruins 76. We hope you have a good rest of your evening. This is Johnny Gammon once again saying good night, God bless, and go Bruins.